behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here on to PTM Racing TV. We are live today here for the season finale of SM500 Superspeedway Series here at Talladega Superspeedway. And the car of their choice, it will be the NASCAR Xfinity Series to reel and deal for 60 laps of the distance here on PTM Racing TV. Hi, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Traver, joining you guys once again here, joined by a friend of ours tonight here. We'll refer to him there as Michael. Michael, good to have you on the show here today, sir, as we are getting ready to get down to Talladega. How are you looking it down on the track today?
Feels great to be in the booth. And honestly, with Talladega, it's like all super speedway races. If one car goes, it's basically like a domino effect. They all go.
They all
So
go
if a wreck happens, it's gonna take skill and knowing how to dodge the big wreck if one of these 4 championship drivers want to have a good chance at winning this race.
Yeah, absolutely indeed here, Michael. And right now, as we're going to get ready to go on the track, let's head it down to our gridding order tonight. Let's start them up for the www.sim500.com gridding order here. And it's going to be on the pole. The number 19 once more, Tyler Dalton. We'll start on it with the outside of him in the 02. It is Shannon Wood.
And in the 60 will be, in 3rd place, John Higman Jr., followed by the number 41 of EJ Owuk in 4th.
In row number 3, we're going to see John Hudson there in the number 15, but his outside in the number 28, it will be Doy Woods.
And in the number 69, in 6th will be Dusty Barker, followed by the number 04 of Don Sigmund.
Row number 5 is going to be Doug Roth there in the number 43. The outside in the number 22, that will be James Smith.
And the number 48 in 10th will be James Smith, 64, followed by the number 48 of John Flower, 2.
Row number 7, it will be Ron Holyfield in the number 1. The outside in the number 38, it is Chad Coleman.
And running in 14th, the number 10 of Richard Blassie, followed by the car in 14th, the number 10 of the number 98 of Joshua Gartwright.
Clarification, he's talking the 15-16 drivers there, guys. And row number 9 here, Scott Simley is going to be piloting in the number 12. The outside in the number 2, it is Mike Kelly.
followed by the number 39 of Derek A. Myers. Wait, I hope I said that right.
Yep, you did.
And then is 07 of Dion State.
Row number 11 is going to be Andrew Schroeder in the number 84, the outside. In the number 24, it is Cody DeForge.
In the number 74, Brian Wademan, followed by the number 71 of Casey Duncan.
And that will round out your field here today, race fans. We're getting set to go on the action on the call. Tyler Dalton once again leading the way here for the Sim 500 crew, but not in terms of the championship scope. Our top four going into this race here, Dusty Burkhardt, Chad Coleman, Mike Kelly, and EJ Org will be looking for the elusive and coveted Sim 500 championship title. Only one of them will be able to claim the crown. And right now, out of the gate here, this will be a pretty hard start here as we're about to get him going. EJ Oric here, Michael, is going to be the driver. They're all hunting down on the front beginning of this race here.
Which would make sense. So I was watching some of these guys in practice, and they're all looking pretty strong. So this is going to be a good race.
A good race indeed.
It's going to come down to pit strategy, more or less, or avoiding the big one.
Avoiding the big one, setting up for your tones. Here we go. The Sim 500 Super Speedway Series closes out tonight. 6 laps to distance. Here we go. Talladega, green flag high in the air. With a roar, the car is already going down around the Crowns track here. The 7500-02 of Shannon Wood takes the early advantage down on the inside, while the number 41 of EJ Ork immediately dumping the high side. He's already trying to escape the gap and escape the driver. He doesn't want anybody else but himself to take this one home. He's going to have a lot of work to do, though, because there's a pack of hungry wolves trying to feast on that run and the top spot for all the meat that's up in the leaderboard. Bit of a 3-wide little slew down the back on the front straightaway here. One driver, that is number 10 of Richard Beasley. He was your shotgun in the field. Mechanical problems out of the gate there, Michael. Looks like he wasn't quite able to get this tie, number 10, on the right track out of the gate. He may be having audio troubles here, guys. It's his first time on the job. We'll leave him alone here. Yeah, you might want to get that mic up a little bit there, buddy.
I was facing some network issues as the green was being dropped, so I had to step away for a moment. But
Right.
I'll be back in just a moment.
All right, that's all right by us, man. So going back to the call right now, race fan Shannon Wood here, the number 02 takes really advantage here. Tyler Dalton into the second spot. John Higman Jr. now moving himself into the third area here, and Higman this season definitely having himself his fair shakeups of moments and times. Tyler Dalton throughout the Go Racing League series has been putting up a fight and putting on a show there on the Saturday night portions, and they're occasionally popping up on Tuesday nights. But really, in my opinion, it's been all about who can take down the top level guys like Hollyfield, Wood, and even Fowler and Myers when they perp around, and Dusty Burkhardt. He's always had something kind of lingering around here within that number 69 as we go on board. So far so good here as the 88 of Joseph Atchison and the UPS machine currently holds it up on the middle ground here, trying to stay with the number 43 of Doug Roth as the STP machine continues to ride along and hang through his controls.
Now it's looking like we're getting a battle for lead between the 2 and the 1, and it looks like we're getting the low line with the number 2 taking the lead.
0-2 taking the lead here. Thanks for a little bit of help on that draft out of the gate here. The field's still pretty tight. Come back together again. It's really hard early on to Michael to really see who's going to have the early advantage here. Much less going to be really able to handle on to this kind of race with that many laps on the board.
And now it looks like we're starting to get a third line starting to develop. Let's see who all starts to join the third line and get a third line going. Looks like we got 2 cars already on the third line, maybe even a third now. Nope.
Draft them up on the. Draft them up.
The 43 is pushing the 1 back into the lead.
Ron Holyfield there, the number 1, getting a jump up at the spotlight there. Going to hang on down a little bit. Shannon Wood stays down below him in the middle groove, though. Doug Roth trying to march the charge and get the soldiers a moving, while the guys up top side of him stay in content and stay right where they want to play. We go on board with Derek Myers.
And now, with our third line, we have a new leader. The 28 takes the lead.
Yeah.
Quickly now, 3 wide between 1 and 42 again now the 28.
Yeah, not quite in the lead just yet here. It's kind of stuck behind the pack a little bit. Holyfield holding down that bottom lane extremely well as they take them side by side down across the track. Battle for the lead and a battle again for getting that top spot if you're in that final 4, because that is where you want to be and that's where you want to place at. But it seems as though those that are up front, they don't seem to be minding too much on pushing their limits around here.
But the third line looks like they bailed.
Oh,
Big trouble on the tri-oval! Big trouble on the tri-oval. The caution will fly. The first time in Talladega for the first time tonight.
Major caution out on the track here. 3 multiple drivers involved here. 5 of them just in the inside field alone. Caution out on the track here for a massive damage and wreck here. Leader is taken for a big wild turn and a bit of a hit and spin. We'll take a look at the P2 instant replay and see what happened here. Here's the Sim 500 P2 instant replay as we take a look very carefully here. You can see coming down the tri-oval here, Doy was the 88 in the 28, getting a piece of that 88, and Joseph Atchison completely getting turned and twirled across the track. Everybody trying to avoid him and trying to get out of it. Nowhere to go and nowhere to hide.
And by watching the replay, it looks like the 88 just got loose, which took the 28 with him after he tried to correct himself after getting loose.
Yeah, definitely had a little bit too much power there going off that draft. And again, we've talked about how difficult it is to hang on to these cars, but definitely not a move you usually see from guys like Atchison, being able to kind of hang on to that line, especially in that leader spot. But a wreck in the front of that entire pack definitely does not help the cause any. Definitely does not help out these drivers for the long haul. And it looks like Doy Woods is going to be out of this race. Mechanical problem is going to completely take him out, so the number 28 is done for this evening.
Which kind of sucks, which is kind of sad for him, with this being the last race of the season. I'm surprised he doesn't try to stay out. He wasn't able to stay out tonight. And I'm going to be surprised what happens here on this first round of pit stops with a lot of people coming in. With the number 1, the 43. Coming in on my side, the 20, the 19, the 60. And the one's already starting to come out of pit lane, with the 39 also going down pit lane as well.
Lieutenant Beasley will get his lap back here and will move his way back across the change. Andrew Schroeder as well seems to be completely down and out, so number 94 is out for this evening here. So 2 drivers lost already in the shuffle. Schroeder and Woods will not be able to return onto the track here with the damage they've suffered from the incident. So a tough break there for them, unfortunately. And without that instant repair, that's why a lot of drivers generally try to back off and try to stay out of trouble as much as they can, but not easy to do around here.
Now with this early caution, it's going to be a whole different pit strategy now. With no faster pairs, if you're one of the championship player drivers, you better hope you avoid all of that since you don't have access to a faster pair.
Well, they certainly do indeed, but the biggest thing I would say is like having to just stay out of the way of that situation, or staying out of the trouble. It becomes very difficult over time because you just never know what kind of pressure, what kind of buildup really pertains until it gets really late into the field.
And normally, when you're watching, when you're racing, when it comes down to like the last 10 or so laps, is when mainly a lot of the cautions happen because it's everyone battling for position.
Battling for position, battling for that ultimate drive to survive here, and again, really, a lot of drivers always want that prize. They want to get the win at the end of the day, but when you look at the overall picture, you still have to go out there and race at a high level, and while retaining yourself in control and consistency. It's extremely difficult to do, but if you can get it figured out, it usually works out okay in their favor.
Yeah, let's just hope we don't see any intentional wrecking for the win like we saw at Martinsville a couple months ago for the Xfinity Championship for. Like we saw someone do.
Well,
I feel like this is still going to be a good race anyway, in all, on NASCAR's most feared track.
I think it's because maybe it's NASCAR's most feared track. I think that might put a few drivers into them seats and strapped on a little tighter, not thinking about going too crazy out of the gate. But yeah, we always say in P3C, you never know what to expect. Never really can be too sure what's going to happen here.
And by looking at the 19 on his left rear quarter panel, it might look like he might have some slight damage, but probably not, just by the angle I have. Looks like he might have a little bit of slight damage, which might affect his aerodynamics.
Where are you seeing the damage at?
Left rear quarter panel on the left rear by the trunk.
Yeah, there is a slight bit of damage there on the left rear. That's M500 number 19. So let's see how bad that does affect Dalton's airflow around the car. Again, with these.
And it also looks like on the 39 too, we have a little bit of damage on his hood too. And with both these guys leading a line, it's going to be interesting.
It certainly will be interesting indeed here. Well, nevertheless, though, we're going to bring them down the back straightaway here. We're going to square them all up again. Double filed in right now. Joseph Atchison, the 88, still trying to get the car cleaned up and damaged up, although that's going to be at least a good 5 to 20 minutes worth of damage that's going to get repaired up. By the time he gets all that squared up and fixed up, probably will be too little too late to get that car back on the track. And that's just for the required repairs. Optional repairs, probably looking at pretty much the entire race.
So more than likely his night's done. Best bet is just to go take it to the garage.
Well, you can tell that to a driver, but sometimes they will not quit until that car will no longer run. I've seen it before, and I know how crazy they can get.
And I've seen it too, where a guy he literally had no trunk, no rear bumper, no front bumper, and no hood, and was still running laps.
Still running laps indeed. Well, nevertheless, though, we're going to bring them down off of corner number 4 here, down to the front straightaway. We are on lap number 10 here. We are 1/6 of the way there. Myers will lead the field down with Dalton on his outside. This will be a fight out for these two drivers here as they're going to swing him down.
Get ready. And we're back under green here at Talladega. 19 and the 39 taking a minute to get up to speed with that damage. The 19 going down to the low line now. Which means the 39 can get a little bit of a draft going now. Which is probably a good thing that he's not leading a line and slowing the rest of the line down. But now we have the number 1, the 43, making a push for the front again.
Ron Holyfield, Doug Roth right now trying to get a bit of a push off from that top half here. Currently with the number 60 of John Hickman Jr. laying low in the Disrespect 60 machine. He is looking to try and see if the doctor is in the house, and he is certainly coming up for it. Outside goes Hickman Jr. He's going to try to rally the guys behind him and get Holyfield and Rob right there with him.
Now it looks like we get the 60 trying to join the party on the high line now. The 39 and the 19 move to the high line. Gives the 15 a chance to go try to battle for the lead now. It looks like now we're trying to go 3 wide in turns 1 and 2.
Trying to take it 3 wide off, trying to get that lead immediately. Dalton throws the block up top side, but gets trapped in the crossfire of it too. The rest of the field down on the bottom lane, hanging in there. Guys in the back right now trying to catch back up through, trying to get through the pressure here. Those that were involved in the wreck, though, certainly showing their battle scars and their wounds. It looks like, I think, the number, looks like the number 74 down there. Nope, not the 74. I'm trying to get a number on the one that's missing his front nose. That is Doug Sigmund.
It looks like we have the 15 and the 69 and the 43 all trying to battle for the lead now.
That show.
The 15 is getting pushed by the 43 to hold his lead as we go into turns 1 and 2. The 19 now trying to battle for him. Now we got a battle for the lead between the 15 and the 19. Who's gonna get it?
That is Joe Hudson right now, currently trying to hold it on the bottom lane here, trying to stabilize it down. Tyler Dalton trying to see if there's a bit of an opening here or two, but John Hickman Jr. pushing the 19 as hard as he possibly can. Has to be careful up there, though. There's only so much these Xfinity cars can take before they can get a little bit squirrely or a little wobbly. In worst case scenario, you can start to get those engines heated up. That's why you don't see a lot of drivers try to usually push as hard as they do with these drafts, these bumper drafts. They usually try to wait until they get a little bit later on, but it seems as though Hickman Jr. and Dalton want to try to push their limits out of the gate and see if they can get to the front half and stay there for the rest of the time being.
Now, normally what you see these drivers doing is, you see them drafting in the turns on the straights, and then when they get on the turns, you'll see them let off the gas pedal to get airflow back in the radiator to keep the engines from overheating. Then once on the straights again, they'll start pushing again.
Once on the straights, yes indeed here. That's where mainly the most push you're going to see, but a lot of it also is not just because of the radiator, it's also because of how unstable and uncertain these Xfinity cars can be sometimes. It's extremely easy to get them a little bit wobbly, a little bit sideways here, and then what you saw earlier on with that 88 at Joseph Atchison, that can immediately break down the car and kind of get yourself into a spot you do not want to find yourself in, and he's trying to watch every spot carefully through the corners.
And now it looks like we're getting another battle between the 60s trying to catch the 19, but the 43 and the 39 are making it harder on him. And the 43 and the 19 go through the block on the low lane. The 39 tries to start the push on the high line, but it looks like it might slow down the high line with that little bit of front end damage he has.
Myers trying to get a little bit of the side draft off of the back straightaway, looking for openings when he can. Ron Holyfield and the number 1 Budweiser machine looking to try to keep a pace, keep his distance for now. Looks like he may be just trying to go up to the top side and social distance more than most did in 2020, but that may not be the case here, as he's got a lot of guys pushing their way right through. The mid-pack here is coming up, including the top 4 drivers, EJ Orr, Chad Coleman, in that mix-up and in that spot. The 38 right now, the NOS Energy dealing with Oryx while he gets blocked and centered off here. He's trying to get back ahead of him to try to keep him from losing this one out.
And now it looks like we're trying to get a high line and a second and a third lane starting to develop. But most of these guys are just wanting to run single file for right now, trying to keep less trouble if they run single file. And now they have a high and a low lane starting to develop. The number 1 leading it. Oh, the 38 throws the block on the high line, trying to make it 3 wide. But he just keeps it at 2 wide. The 38 starts pushing the high line.
Coleman right now probably knows the pressure that's going through his mind, trying to stay in control of his own destiny here. But again, with still like good half of the race left, he knows he can't be giving up too much here on the track and on the position here. He's going to have to be a little bit more careful and see where those 3 wide openings are and see where the rest of the car can take to.
As now we have a battle for the, as it looks like a battle for the lead between the 43 and the 19, with the 19 taking the lead. Just barely though. These cars pushing, you can have a lead for a second and lose it in a second.
That is kind of the whole deal with play tracks in Talladega itself. You can have the lead for 1 second, then you can lose at the very next. You can have it for 1 lap, and then you can end up getting caught, then you can end up losing it for a whole 30 or 40 laps. It's literally one of the most objectively tough and difficult races you have got to fight as a driver. But the one thing they've always said before, and I'll say it again, the 1 lap that matters in these races is that final lap.
And for pitting, you think that these drivers just pit whenever they're ready? No, it would come down to if you're a Chevy, you'd want to put when the other Chevy spit. You're a Toyota, you want to put when the other Toyota spit. Because if you pit with the manufacturer, you guys tend to make a draft better when you guys go to pits, try to catch up to the field.
Right now, moving him back down on the middle section here. Richard Beasley, the number 10 tie-dye, is right now currently going from dead last to the front of the pack. He had started Pickering qualifying into 15th position. He's 9 spots up, but did not make it out for the first set of laps due to mechanical problems. And the tie 10 is starting to turn that tide and seemingly almost coming back from the dead in this case.
Now it looks like we have the 43 being pushed really good by the 60 with the 41. Trying to cut it off as we're starting to go 3 wide with the 19 and the 39. Third lane trying to develop.
Dusty Burkhardt right now currently keeping his top 4 drivers at bay, except for EJ Ork, who has now moved his way into what I could best describe as the abyss of airflow, because there is nothing but power and rage going right on the top and the middle and the bottom grounds of Talladega Superspeedway, while these drivers continue to fight it out. Ork right now trying to work the middle ground here. It looks like maybe see a little bit of a back off there from Burkhardt and Coleman. They are currently laying low in the bottom lanes, just waiting for trouble to spike if it all happens.
And now the 43 and the 60 are starting to get a little bit of a distance on the rest of the field, but not much, as when they get into the turns of the trial where they'll let up a little, gives these cars time to catch up just for a second before they all start to gas it again.
Currently a hard charger right now. Cody D. Ford here, 15 spots up from the field, from the ranks here, looking to try to keep that streak alive, keep it going here in the RCSM machine. The Ford Mustangs right now currently trying to tackle down the Chevrolets, while Doug Roth rockets the Chevys. The Fords behind him are not making it easy for him. Onboard camera here with Doug Roth here in the number 43. As you can see right up on the top side here, Michael, the number 10, Richard Beasley, now making a good little jump there in the spot, and that's for good reason, because he's got a lot of help and some push there from the 41 of EJ Ork. He's trying to get...
And we're about to be almost 3 wide for the lead, almost. We have the number 1 trying, and the 43 trying to make it 3 wide, but the 10 is still getting pushed by only 1 car, by the 41. The rest of the other guys are on the high line and the low, on the 3rd line and the low line.
Gotta go where the run is and gotta go where the power is at. And right now the outside seems to be where everybody is getting just a little bit more increase in volume and speed. Ron Holyfield getting it all she's worth, while Tyler Dalton and Derek Myers work their way in through the SRT V39, trying to stay with the 7519 of Dalton.
Now the 10 just lost a lot of ground. Time to regroup and get other guys with them, as we're mainly single file. And we have some guys on the high side just trying to stay away from down the high line. That way if anything occurs with this single file line, they'll have more of a chance to avoid it.
Getting it back into underneath the track here and back into the draft zone there. You see the train starting to form once more here on the bottom lane. Everybody moving their way through the positions. So far, so good here, but again, extremely difficult to stay in position and in tone. It's when you get a little bit later in this one, though, that could be a very big difference maker for some of these drivers. They know they cannot be making too many more mistakes, especially now with what they got online.
Ghost being Championship 9. This is gonna come down. Oh, we have the 41. We have people starting to pit. People starting to pit, it looks like.
It looks like Matt Nicholson the only one, and they go into pit road here, and that looks like that is going to be the only driver in for now. The rest of the field staying on out. Looks like they'll go a few more laps here on the track.
It looked like the 41 was about to go in the way he just dove down in the middle of turns 3 and 4. But he stayed out. That could have started a disaster if he did it at the wrong time. Both of them started for a disaster. As we start to develop another 2 wide, the 19, the 39, the 60 running top 3. The 1, the 24, round out your top 5.
Nearly halfway done with this race here so far, and it has been pretty much those boys that have those 7500 stamps on their name that have dominated so far. But those that have been laying in the back, laying in the middle, they've been pretty much kind of watching their movement, watching their targets. They know there is still a lot of racing left, and they cannot let their top championship 4 hopes go into disrepair or go into damage mode, because that is a lot of work they've worked through this entire season just to get to.
And now we got the number 1 being pushed by the guy who just by the 10. Now hoping he can go back, make the one push for the lead, but with this train on the eyesight, it's gonna be hard to get this low lane going without having people go down there and having friends down there to help you.
Certainly.
The good thing is if you pit with the manufacturer rule, you already have friends coming out of pit lane, so they know you can have a traffic.
May have friends in pit lane when you get out of pit road, but the biggest question is how well can you hang with them when you get off of pit lanes? And you can see right here too, he did the orb, cut to the yellow line a little bit there, wasn't going for a pass. He was trying to get himself back squared up as the drivers were passing him. He's able to recover and regroup, but he lost a little bit of ground from that major pack, and it looks like actually he's potentially trying to go jumping into the back here away from the chaos up front of him. So it looks like maybe he's just trying to figure a different strategy out or get himself ready for pit road.
The slightest mistake will cause a massacre. If your car starts to spin and you don't try to check up and maintain it, that's what's gonna start the trouble.
That's the trouble indeed here. We're gonna go on board here with Joe Hudson, the number 15, as you can see just how crazy it is in these drafts here, folks. We talk about it constantly, but you really just have to see it and feel it to believe it. Being inside of a car, being inside a pack, being right beside somebody else, and then all of a sudden realizing there's 2 other drivers right in front of you or beside you, and just thinking to yourself at that moment in time, like, am I going to get myself into trouble? Am I going to get myself trapped in something I really don't want? You just never ever know what will happen until the moment arises and the moment comes. On board here right now with Dijon Monte as we get just another good look inside the car and around the track. Everybody right now just trying to hang in there and see what they can bring to the table.
And by taking a look at Dalton, looking at being the leader, is you're gonna want to rely on your spotter and using your rearview mirror to block the lanes as they're starting to get a push to help you stay in the lead better.
Well, maybe right now, currently, just I would say more than anything, probably staying in that middle groove allows him to kind of control both lanes here if he wants them. Of course, the middle lane's obviously his for the taking, but the bottom and the top side, if they dare try to go above or beyond, could just shoot back down.
What they're trying to do now, but it all failed because it was because of them being in the tribal. They attempted, but still, no, they didn't get it.
May have failed now, but that's not going to say it fails later right now. Cody 84 is number 24, 17 spots up. He's tied there with Derek Myers in the hard charger award category. The only other one that's anywhere near them is Casey Duncan, 16 spots up, and Dijon Monte, 12 spots down. Pressure mounting right now. Dijon actually starting to make a little bit of a charge. Looks like he got some air time now. He wants to bring the airflow right down to his time as he gets it right off the back stretch into turn 4. Squaring him up. He's moved even further through the field. He's moved into 6th now, and it looks like maybe he's trying to hang on to these top guys up front at the moment.
And the 24, I'm surprised he's able to lead this low line right now with the damage he has on his right fender and his right hood. I'm surprised he's still able to hold a decent draft right now and be in the lead right now. Slowing down the entire low line. Oh, trouble in the back straight! Trouble, trouble, trouble! Major trouble! Looks like we're still green. Down the Talladega back straight.
Massive damage, a massive wreck here off the back straightaway here. Unfortunately, multiple drivers involved. The 15 there of Joe Hudson, Casey Duncan, and the number 71 involved. Still no caution is out. We are still under green. Not completely sure why the caution flag did not pop out there when they called it. I guess they wanted to see if they could refire them before they had called it, but this is definitely going to be a massive blow to those that were in that pack and trying to get in that lineup. And those now that are further around from the draft and further runs, they're going to have to now work together just to try to catch back up with the field.
It looks like they didn't throw the caution because when they all started spinning, they all went below the yellow line, which is basically outside the field of play, not on the track. But I think if the trouble would have stayed on the track itself, above on the outside of the yellow line, they would have done the caution. Because they all went on that behind them under the yellow line, where you're not allowed to pass. That's why they most likely left it green.
PTM instant replay shows what happened here. Myers almost looked like a brake track up ahead there, just completely throwing everybody for a complete loop and a 180, if you will, and then everybody just trying to evade and trying to avoid it, but seemingly nowhere to go and nowhere to run off to. What ended up bringing us to a massive little hiccup, a little bit of a wreck down there. The two, Mike Kelly involved in that one. Of course, Casey Duncan, Joe Hudson, they were all involved in just an absolute tough break there for all drivers involved there. They know they can't let that happen too much often than not, but that is kind of how the playing field goes sometimes here at Talladega.
And Daytona as well. Basically, it just comes down to knowing your car and knowing where you run the best.
Take a look
and
right.
where the best draft is.
We're going to take a look at it right now. Our top four right now, Dusty Burkhardt, Chad Coleman, Mike Kelly, and EJ Orrick right now, currently their positions here. And so far, the one that is on the top of all of them is going to be Burkhardt, who is right now in the number 69 here on the 6th position here. He's roughly about 4 seconds ahead of Chad Coleman and EJ Orrick, which those are the two drivers on your screen right now, race fans here, trying to hang on, trying to stabilize down as far as they can, but they know there is not a whole lot of room to work with, not a whole lot of area to go with. And Mike Kelly, I forgot to mention as well, that was in that final four. He also was one of those that got involved in the wreck, so the fact that the caution did not come out for a championship four just shows now these four drivers, they need to make the right moves and avoid any mistakes at all costs, but still not completely sure what the heck was going on down there with Derek Myers there, but that certainly did square everybody off and send them for a complete 180 around the track.
As it stands right now, we still have the number 24 of Tony Deepford leading, with the number 43 right behind him, trying to push him. I'm surprised these drivers behind the 24 don't try to make a move on him, saying that the 24 has damage on his right front fender, his right front too. He's still leading, I'm surprised.
Sometimes you got a little bit of power and a little bit more sway to use up when you need it on the most, and that's exactly what you got to do just to stay in control of your own destiny and stay in control of your own drive. And right now it seems as though that may be the biggest position and the biggest key to victory for many of these guys right now, but definitely not. But definitely now I would say, well, that big wreck, it shaked everybody up, probably spooked them a bit more, making them realize they cannot be making simple, easy mistakes like that anymore.
Now this championship four drivers need is either another caution, or all these the leaders could hopefully make a pit stop for these drivers to come back. But I just caught a glimpse of these drivers that are on the lead lap coming out of turns 1 and 2 of the drivers that were involved just going into turns 3 and 4. So the lead lap, so the field that did not get involved in the wreck is starting to catch pretty fast.
Well,
I'll be surprised if some of these championship four guys didn't go a lap down.
well, those that go a lap down, they're really going to have to rely on two things. The first thing is either getting a good caution to help get everybody squared back up and to be able to give it a chance, or the only other opportunity really is going to be to get into pit road and in and out as best they can right now. Speaking of going up for contenders here, top four implications up on the grabs. Orrick and Coleman using the draft, scooting together, using the power of these Xfinity cars, muscling their way right up ahead. The two go for the lead.
Now it looks like we've got another battle for the lead between the 41 and the 19, but the 19 starting to fall back just a little bit, which might be smarter on their end. Try to fall back so if more trouble happens, they can try to avoid it better, the best they can. And we still have yet to see some of these drivers pit yet after the first caution, the first early caution we had.
Well, that definitely tells you, though, that they will be kind of setting more up for that long-haul strategy. So right now, whenever they decide to go back into pit road and they get all the fuel they need, their reserves will pretty much be set and limited, ready to go for the final run that they need to accomplish. So one pit stop could make the difference between success or failure. But rather than having to rely on so much of the fuel tank, which again, these drivers are only running tonight at about a 70% fuel tank, that makes it that much more tricky and more systematical to control on the whole, even in the playing field.
And normally at Talladega for the Cup Series cars, they normally get about 34 laps as we get drivers going to pit lane, making their pit stops.
Pit stops engaged. Trouble though, unfortunately. The 43 Doug Roth gonna go for a little tail whip and a spin. The STP machine does not quite square up as much as the other drivers did, and he ends up spinning it right out. Gonna have to work around that.
Now we got some of these cars that were involved in that last wreck getting lapped just now. They're just now getting lapped as they try to join in with the rest of the field right now.
Bad Nickel 75 and the 71 of Casey Duncan were the ones that were in the wrecks earlier on, are avoiding the trouble, so they are going to fall back in line, and they'll have to fall back into the draft hoping for the brakes here when they can.
No, I'll be surprised to see if these cars that didn't pit last lap go to pits. See who goes to pits now. And we got some more drivers going to the pits now as well, but the 41 and the 38 stay out.
Quick stops here for Tyler Dalton, Richard Beasley, Dusty Burkhart, Ron Holyfield, and Brian Wertman here. We'll have to see how this one plays out for them. As EJ Ork, Jack Coleman stay out on the track. I believe next time around, if I was them, I'd head to pit road because you got Burkhart in there, and also Mike Kelly has joined the party and joined the crowd here. So, but again, without that instar pair, whatever damage he's got on that left rear fender, he needs to get fixed up and he needs to get all the fuel he can in there just to survive. If he's going to have any chance, he's going to need to catch a break and catch a caution. There's no way. Whoa, wait a minute, pit road here. There's trouble. There is major trouble. That's 60 of John Hickman Jr. in the 02. Shannon Wood. They have collided one another here. Wood is trying to get squared back up on the track here, but he is not getting it in his pit stall right away. He's finally got it in there, but a huge shot out of the gate into his arm and just completely taking him out of control here.
The 41 and 38 head to pit lane. Now it looks like EJ O'Rourke is still your leader too, as he goes into pit lane.
EJ O'Rourke, Jack Coleman right now going to have to get in and get out, take the fuel and go. Don't worry about anything else, but it looks like O'Rourke's going to take right side tires. I don't know if I agree with that strategy much. Chad Coleman going to get the fuel, and that's it. He's not wasting time. Although actually he will be able to hang with Coleman at least off the exit. So right side tires for O'Rourke, just fuel for Coleman. As right now the field lurks their way around, they are going to try to get right back into the pace here. Holyfield, Gathright, Beasley, and Myers are now going to get right up ahead, and they're coming up for the leaders that are going down out of pit exit. Coleman and O'Rourke, you're going to have company in a minute here, fellas.
Unless you guys just try to draft with them. I'll be glad. I'll be surprised to see what happens here.
I mean, they can draft all they want here, but the biggest problem I'm seeing here is, again, even with the draft, you're still going to have a lot of guys kind of pushing each other into that playing field, into that ground clearance, which then in turn focuses them to really have to make a choice on who wants the top four more than the other, and then having to worry about a guy by the name of Dusty Burkhart lingering around back there. There's only three drivers really that have a great chance to make this final four win, as Mike Kelly has been completely nullified and taken out. He has lost too many laps, and his championship hopes are done and over with at this point.
And now with the normally how these championship races finish out, what I've been seeing is, though you want to win the championship, you most likely have to win the race. But in these championship 4 driver situation, it would just come down to points at this point in time, with most of them being caught in trouble at some point in this race.
Well, for this one, points really don't matter. The only thing that matters is just finish ahead of the other and wish for and just get the best out of your equipment. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. But the pressure is still forcing their hand and forcing their level on the playing fields against so much on the line, so much they have to focus in on and really take control. It becomes so much more difficult and precious to really nail as they have finally begun to draft back up together. Hollyfield and Gathright and Beasley have all come together there with the race leaders, but Burkhart and Wortman, they are not too far behind. Burkhart gonna have to make a choice here. Does he stay with the draft or does he decide to break from the pack and use Wortman as a bit of a push here?
Only time will tell with so many laps remaining, only time will tell. But the 38 still hanging in there strong. Things like it's starting to get interesting here at Talladega.
They certainly are indeed.
With already 2 cautions and 1 caution going under the line where they normally wouldn't be calling a caution. But I feel like these some of these drivers did get screwed out there. I feel like they, either iRacing or these admins should have called a caution. Or race control, I meant. Should have called a caution there because a lot of these drivers were taken out.
Well,
probably a quarter of the field was taken.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the drivers knew going in the risk and what they were going to face up against here. So, depending on how they look at it from the server end as well, that could have been just kind of one of those freak accidents there that may have been missed, and they could not have really anything to do with it. But I still would say more than likely that iRacing officials just did not quite center point or really figure out where and when everything was going to go wrong, go down. So they just kind of let them race it out from there. At that point, it's pretty much kind of turns into a fight for survival, and these drivers are well aware that these plate tracks are all about that.
Another thing, when your spotter says smoke in turn, for example, smoke in turn 3, you would know to start braking early. That way you know to try to avoid the big one. Yeah, I think this race is going to be coming down to fuel or position. Avoiding the wrecks still. There's still almost 15 laps to go. And now it's going to come down to position battle.
Chad Coleman, EJ Ork right now currently just trying to hold down the field, trying to hold everybody off on their playing field. 17 laps remain here. And it's been pretty much a wild little show here. Everybody caught off guard and caught in some major circumstances here in some very big positions out of the spotlight and out of the gate. But this has really now come down to this, which is Championship 4 and then O's that want just that final prize money for the race end of the championship. This is where they want to end it. This is where they want to finish it. So much on their plate and on their table here. It could be a very tough call and a very big deal here when they get further down the line.
With that, with the 16 to go, I'm surprised we don't start seeing try to go too wide again. 2 or 3 wide now.
I mean, the what?
We have 16 to go.
I mean, biggest thing right now here, Coleman and Oric have got to be kind of careful about when and where they want to make their moves. Tyler Dalton right now, surprise enough, has been put a lap down due to the pit stop and the issue he may have suffered there. Everyone else right now just trying to hang in and see what they can bring to the table.
And as they were before, it looked like there was another car getting close to being lapped down. As I was just talking about this, they're starting to go too wide again with the number 1, the 19, trying to push for first and second.
16 will turn to 15 laps left to go here, Michael, and it's going to be a long haul shot now with traffic in front of them and drivers beside them.
It looks like the routing machine, the iRacing machine. No, it's the routing machine. From the angle we had. Has heavy front end damage. Heavy front end damage.
Well, run one routing machine, the 04, heavy front end damage. One other routing machine, the 89 slash the 98. Joshua Gathright right now, not looking too bad on his end. He's got a pretty clean looking ride here on the rowdy scheme, and he's trying to hold that thing down for all she's worth, but knows that these guys are currently just trying to push his leg and trying to push him up as much as they can. Hollyfield taking up for the race late. Tyler Dalton being the angel for him to push him up there and hang on for this.
And we're starting to get too wide. I'll be surprised if we don't see a third line so you hit the left soon.
I don't think they're going to really start thinking about burning that third line up till you probably got about 10 laps to go, maybe around 8 or so as well. That's going to be kind of their biggest issue here, because you don't want to get too crazy or too wild out of the spot. I think at the end that could end up playing favorably. It usually never does.
And it's looking like we're getting a decent battle for the lead between the 38 and the 1. Changing every second, but the 19 and the 98 are pushing the 1. Looks like we might be seeing a good lead change here. But yet they're still battling with the 38 being pushed by the 43. Number 1 being pushed by the 19 and the 98. It's going to be interesting to watch the high line each other for the lead. As the high line just has the low line has a lot of people, so the low line might win this race, more than likely. And that's where most of the draft is.
Wherever the draft is and wherever the final pushes come from, they could be getting a little bit more moisture there on the bottom lane. The middle group may be a little bit tackier, and they may be able to get some speed going. We've heard drivers talk about it constantly before, but sometimes the middle and the outside line usually can actually hit a little bit of a ride off and really make a move off in the distance. That could be what guys like Hollyfield and them are looking at and trying to get the big picture on, but I've seen these races usually won on the bottom lane to the line. Getting it to that middle or the outside groove and then hanging on is extremely difficult and very tough to really take full control of, and they know it.
And I noticed that too. At the Backer 500 last year, it came down to avoiding the wreck coming to the checker flag in the tri-oval last year. It came down to avoiding the wreck in the tri-oval to win the race.
Well, right now the last thing these drivers are thinking about is anything involving a wreck, anything involving chaos or ensuing trouble. So much on the line, so much pressure at stake. They know that there is not anything left to lose but everything to gain. But Oric and Coleman right now, they've got everything to lose and then some to gain. But currently, Coleman leading it out here. Oric probably in the back of his mind thinking, where is he going to have to make the move, make that charge? Especially knowing now what's right behind him in the 6th spot. Dusty Burkhardt is also now finally back into this. So all 3 of the final 4 drivers have finally found their way right into the mix and into the fold as we approach with only 10 laps to go this next time on by.
10 to go here. We should be starting to see teammates starting to get together, trying to help each other with the draft. From the way it's been looking, it looks like the number 1 car, the number 19 car are teammates on one of the racing teams that they have here. our teammates as we have another car being lapped right now. I'll be surprised how he's going to affect things here, as he's just been lapped.
I'd say probably more than likely it's just getting the pressure put on him and trying to stay in control and stay in really his own line of sight. Doesn't want to worry too much about all the chaos ensuing and really all the problems that come with it.
But right now, it looks like we have the number 1 and the 19 trying to battle the 10, the 41, and the 38 for the lead right now. Looks like the number 1 trying to edge ever so closer, but ever so slightly, not at the same time with only having 3 cars on the high line and the train on the lower line. As we enter, 9 to go.
9 laps remain indeed here. Coleman currently staying on the bottom lane. Ron Holyfield trying to get some run on the outside. Gets a good push wrapped off there once again from Tyler Dalton. And Dalton right now probably just thinking at this point he's got to be in a fight with Mike Tyson. And the one on the other side is Glass Joe, because he's probably feeling like here knowing that he could be in deep trouble with just one little punch or one little swing at him. But he seems to be holding himself down just for the most part. Dalton again not on the lead lap, unfortunately got trapped there from the pit road. Shenanigans and issues there. Everybody else though, not the same situation. The pack stacked and racked, ready to go on the attack here.
And the number 1 is looking like he's in the lead, but the 38 is still battling with him.
Lap traffic up ahead right now. 8 laps left to go here at Talladega. Something's going to give and someone's going to have to let off here on this one. But right now, Coleman and Oryx still holding their 2 lines and 2 spots. Down to the inside, though. Garth Wright going to throw one right on Burkhart. Burkhart can't be too thrilled about that. The Tennessee Vols 69 trying to keep the Camaro crew in charge and in control, with 1 Ford mixed in the grout with that tie number 10 of Richard Beasley. The Chevys, though, have kind of reclaimed and regained themselves in this one, but man, they have still got a lot of trouble in front of them, knowing that they are all trying to go for the same thing. Manufacturer-wise, though, at least they can say they've got themselves pretty much locked in this one. Coming back around, race fans, we are approaching final 6 laps remaining. Coleman, still your race leader. The NOS Energy Drinks, number 38, just trying to hang on while lap traffic right in front of them. Drivers making their way through, choosing their position, looking for openings or looking to figure out where they're going to go next.
And we have a little bit of lap traffic up ahead on coming into the Talladega super stretch. So they're trying a few times here tonight.
Good, unfortunately going to be put a lap down here. Earlier on had a bit of a good run on his case and was staying in control, but again, we're just kind of same thing. We kind of sound like a broken record, but really when they went into pit road, everything kind of flipped on him and changed out his route and reactions quickly. Those that had laid out and stayed out a little longer seem to have gained so much more advantage and so much more control to bring him down across the front straightaway here. Here we go, race fans. High five in the air. 5 laps to go from the flagman's call.
With 5 to go from Talladega. More than likely, the drivers know that with 5 to go, they're probably just going to play it smart and try to stay too wide the rest of the way and try to hold the line and listen to the spotters. Just try to stay 2 by 2 and just rely on the draft instead of relying on caution and some at this point, with this being late in the race. And it's going to come down to tire, who has the better tires too as well.
The tires at this point, that really I don't think is going to matter whatsoever here, Michael. I think the biggest thing is just how hard can you push and how hard can you draft. I think that's going to be really where the biggest moves and where the biggest shots come from. Those tires wise, some have been literally using them from the very beginning of this race and just been using only the fuel on them. That's been one of those things with these cars that usually in NASCAR you don't have to worry about the tires all that much. And we're going to get a good look at that right now as the 98 of Gathright parks it up for the outside of Wortman. Wortman trying to make a run for it there. Couldn't quite get it to go, but Gathright going to still hang on the outside. Looking to try to build some speed as we are down 4 laps to left.
And we're also 3 wide down the back straight. 4 to go.
3 wide off now. Still, though, a little bit of run from Gathright. He's trying to rally Wortman and trying to get something going. Holyfield in the 1 Budweiser right now, currently blocking and giving Ulrich a very massive headache here in terms of what he's going to have to do. If I'm
coming to 3 to go.
If I'm EJ Ulrich right now, my thoughts are pretty simple here. Get a push on that 38 and get myself running up as far as I can. The outside's blocked, so have to narrow down positions. Where's the best line? Where's the best route? He knows there is so much on the line here, and there's so much up for grabs, and he's just trying to keep the momentum at bay and trying to stick with it.
At this point, I'll be surprised if they just try to race smart and just try to keep it like this. Just rely on the draft and where the better, and where the more air, and where the most speed is going to be.
I don't think there's a whole lot of aero spots here. At this point, they're going to give him an advantage over the other. I think it's really just a matter of just where can you get the run from and where can you finish it out. Here we go. Green flag high in the air this time on by. We've got only 2 laps left.
2 laps remaining. As it looks like they're almost 3 wide for the lead with 3 different Chevrolets. 3 wide for the lead. For the battle for the lead.
Wortman, Holyfield, and Coleman all diving him in deep, trying to find the opening when they can. Coleman's still hanging in deep. There's a slight gap, though, opened up here. If that is going to be the choice here for that 41, he might have to make it quickly, though. Coleman parked down on the yellow line just for a brief, fleeting moment. Looked like Ulrich might have given him a little bit of a bump there in the back, trying to get around to him. So
and we're coming to the white flag here in Talladega, which means 1 more to go.
Story's running high, Commotion's running well. 1 more lap remains here at Talladega. Here comes the white flag high in the air from our flagmen. We're going to see this one race it to the end. Coleman staying at the bottom. Holyfield staying up top side. Ulrich right now trying to make one last surge for the move.
And as we enter the last time down the Talladega Super Stretch.
Last chance here for Ulrich. Does he make the move on Coleman, or will he let someone else take it? Burkhardt also hanging around back there. Watch out for that 69 in the middle. He's going for a broke, going for it all. Final drive here through 3 and 4.
Let's watch the trial here, because one time these cars were in Talladega, just like early in the race, calamity happened in the trial.
Well,
let's hope calamity doesn't happen in the trial again.
Coming around down the outside right now. Ulrich trying to hang in there. He's gonna get bumped out of here. It's gonna be Jack Coleman winning it out.
Surprisingly, I figured that would happen because it normally always happens on the last lap in Talladega. Everyone trying to go for a big lead at the last second.
Last flat chance and last opportunities to strike it big. And for this one, it will be a season championship stake here for Chad Coleman. He is going to be the season champion with this win here at Talladega Superspeedway. The final of the remaining 4 brings it home in a last-ditch effort. Ulrich went for all he could. It just was not enough. And will unfortunately have to settle for 3rd in an absolutely star-studded lineup and a final exit field. Coleman is your Superspeedway Super Series champion.
Congratulations to him. I figured, like what I figured, something like that would probably happen. Everyone trying to make a big push at the end on the coming to the tri-oval, and calamity struck yet again, just like on the opening laps here tonight. But congratulations to our winner and winning the overall season championship. This is gonna be a fun post-race interview with him, I think.
Certainly will be interesting to hear what he's got in mind, what he's going to have on thoughts here in just a second here. We're going to take a quick look real quick at our race results here, presented by www.sim500.com here. This is your final results here for this one here at Talladega. Coleman winning it out. Holyfield going to take home second. EJ Orr going to go third, finishing second overall in the championship. Brian Werman going to have a great run, top 5, and the hard charger, 19 spots for him. 10th going to the 10 of Richard Beasley, and 10 positions up from his original spot. I don't think really we could have said anything more 10-wise there, but Dusty Burkhardt going to go 6th. 7th going to go Joshua Gathright. 8th to Scott Simley. And 9th position is going to go to the 22 of James Smith. And then the 10th spot will finally go to Tyler Dalton after having to fall under the pressure and the pit stops. He'll at least have himself a top 10 to finalize it out. All right, well, Michael, we're going to go ahead and talk with these drivers real quick. We've got the top 3 now joining us here into the booth here. And we start off here with our third place finisher here today, ladies and gentlemen, the number 41, E.J. Orick, coming around here for another top 5 spot, but the third here in the podium. E.J., congratulations on that, but they got to be a little bit bittersweet too, I would think, coming just second place in the season championship. What went wrong and what went down there on that final lap there, sir?
Honestly, man, I don't even know. I was sitting there like just had no help. That's really it.
And had no help, had nothing really to give. And I know we were kind of trapped there in the back as well there of Coleman. It looked like you had try to find your openings, trying to find your moves when you could, but it just seemed like the more as you went along, it was just getting so much more difficult to really find another chance here. I mean, if you could have done anything differently, though, before all this had happened, would you have tried to, or really was this the best you think you could come out with this performance?
Yeah, catching the pack with Coleman was pretty cool. I mean, some of these guys up here probably should do a little AI racing before they jump in here. Just some of the moves that these guys were doing weren't. This was just stupid, but hey, it's all good. We caught the pack. Luckily, Chad and I kind of know what we're doing, and we're able to catch the pack back up. But at the end there, I was trying to clear Ron. What I was trying to do is push Chad clear, myself clear, and jump up in front of Ron and get the lead, but didn't work out. That's all good.
Indeed there, sir. Well, nevertheless, Oric, as you are going to at least come away today with the third place and second overall this season, you want to thank you for this, sir.
Just going to thank Personal Comfort, Chevrolet, Chad Coleman. I appreciate him, and it's not Saturday drink.
Yes, sir. All right, EJ, man, great to have you on the show. Great to hear from you once more. Congratulations on this third place finish today.
Appreciate it, Christian. Thank you for all you guys do.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, EJ Oric taking home tonight in third. Taking home tonight here for the second place spot, though, of course, will be Ron Holyfield here. Take a listen in here to Mr. Ron Holyfield. We'll see if we can get in touch with him here. I'm trying to. There he is. There he's coming on the track now. He's coming out of that car right now, race fans. Here he is, your second place finisher today, and the number 1, Ron Holyfield. And Holyfield, man, holy smokes, sir! You had one position away from claiming the final win of the season. You went for broke. You did everything you could just to try to hang on. But this thing just buckled down, and it just could not get all of it at the end, man. How was you feeling, though, at the end?
Yeah, I was sure hoping for it. .062, I think it was. I mean, that's pretty close. So had a good pusher, and I figured my only chance was to stay out there. But I didn't want to cause a wreck or nothing to knock them both out. And trying to give EJ a little bit of room. Probably should have held him down a little more, but hey man, at least we didn't all wreck, and it was a good race.
It was a good race indeed. It was a great little final outing and a big position battle for you and the crew. I mean, at the end of the day, though, you really seemed like you were pretty much kind of holding down the first half and the second half from point A to point B, with only really the final leg kind of changing things out a bit. Was that really just kind of where the turning point was for you to kind of hold on the lead, or do you think it was a little bit earlier than that?
Well, we had that big wreck where the caution didn't come out, so that kind of separated everything, and then they were able to come back up there. And I probably, looking back on it, I probably should have let EJ in front of me and tried to push him to the win. But man, I wanted to win so bad. It's hard to lift. You know what I mean? You don't think about that at the time. You just in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely do indeed. Well, nevertheless, I know that win will certainly be coming for you eventually here on the show as we see you back here on the track in due time. But nevertheless, here, Hollyfield, as you're finalizing out today here in second place, sir, who do you want to thank for all this?
John mostly. I mean, John put it all together, and John made it happen this year, and he did a great job. And all my competitors there. I mean, it wouldn't be no fun without some good guys in here running, and that's what we have here at this league. And we got y'all broadcasting. Everything seems to be clicking pretty good. I really enjoy it. Look forward to it every night.
Appreciate that, Ron, man. Congratulations on the second place finish today.
Yeah, congrats to Chad on that win. I think that win got him the championship too. So yeah, and maybe I get. I don't know if I'll ever reach those heights, but keep clumping at it.
For sure that, Ron.
Keep
Thanks so
trying.
much for your time, man. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, bud.
Second place finisher today, Ron Holyfield will come away with that. But the man who takes full control tonight, he's your season champion, ladies and gentlemen, in the 38, Jack Coleman. And Coleman, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it the only way we all know how, which is put this thing in victory lane. And you done it, sir. Walked away with this, blocked Oric off from trying to make any big moves. How wild was it just to even hang on for the rest of this here?
It we took 2 tires on the pit stop, and I don't think that was the right way to go because it got really loose right there at the end. Like we were moving around a lot, especially when you was getting pushed aggressively. But oh man, this super speedway, we just tried to put ourselves in a position not to get wrecked for the first part of the race, and then the second part we went racing and we had good pit stops. Got hooked up with EJ right there, me and him, and of course Beasley. We've been doing this for a while, especially with the super speedway stuff. So all 3 of us got a pretty good idea of what we're doing with it, and we put it to use. And like I told EJ on the last lap, I said, "Man, you done exactly what I'd have done. Like you needed like another, in real world, you needed about another 6 inches. If you could have got his rear bumper in front of Ron's front bumper, I was a sitting duck." Congrats to all the guys that made the final 4, and I was the lucky one to come out on top.
Lucky one to come
Now-
out on top. Go ahead.
Now go ahead and explain to us how your emotions were going through your head as you saw the white flag waving as you were coming down to the white flag.
As far as emotion and stuff with super speedways, you're waiting on something to happen. So even as you're taking the white flag, you're just sitting there waiting to be like, as loose as these things are, one bad bump on the top from Tyler to Ron, or they pinch and they touch like that, we could all end up wrecked. So with this deal, it's not over until literally it's over. Like it's this deal. I've lost these races at the start finish line, getting turned into the outside wall.
Certainly the case indeed here, and certainly a bit of a wild and a climactic sequence for it all. But Coleman, you are going to walk away the season champion here today, my friend. With that in mind, I will ask you this, and I'll ask you well. Who do you want to thank here for everything you've done tonight, man?
I gotta thank everybody with Sim 500 and thank John Fowler for putting this deal together. He's got 2 series that he brought into Sim 500, and both of them by far have been a lot of fun. This super speedway deal, I'm kind of sad to see it go away. It's something to fill time on Tuesday nights. Just you get to race, and sometimes the racing's pretty good, like it was tonight. And they do some great stuff through sponsors and for giveaways for trophies and everything for this deal. So thank them and everybody Sim 500, and thank the RCSM with their diecast stuff and for sponsoring the league. So just thank everybody with them and thank everybody in Team Name.
For sure there. All right, Coleman. And once more, congratulations claiming the championship and the trophy. We certainly wish you the best down the road and the season title championship in further races, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chad Coleman will claim the championship and will win it all here at Talladega. Well,
And
Michael,
what a great night this has been. Couple good drafting, couple wrecks one wreck early, which basically almost changed the entire pit strategy, it looked like, for most of these guys. Took out some of these guys, and with that caution, and with that wreck that didn't call a caution, took out one of our Championship 4 drivers, which was kind of sad for him. But either way, this was still a good night. And what a wonderful way to finish the season.
Wonderful.
Congratulations to our season champion yet again.
Definitely a wonderful way to finish out the season indeed. Well, race fans, thank you all so much for tuning on in tonight. Be sure to tune in with us tomorrow night on Wednesday as we will be showcasing you the Six Sigma Sim Racing Oval League. They'll be back on the ovals this time, we promise you that much. But it'll be, shall we say, a track that may put them in between a rock and a hard place. You can guess where we're going next. But nevertheless, here, folks, thanks all so much for tuning on in. We love you guys. Thank you for the support. We will see you next time when the green flag flies here on PTM Racing TV.